Peace. This Monroe Jr. I'll be giving my commentary right after this video. Peace.
I think it's a love-hate relationship. I can't really tell you what it is, man. These guys, they I know they love each other. So somebody got to get in the middle. I'm tired of being the middle guy. Yeah, like I'm tired of the guy breaking everything up. I mean, they brothers, man. I don't like it. I don't like it because they're both beautiful guys to me, man. I don't know. I don't know what. I can't answer it. I don't have the answer.
Is there any coming back from this, Joe? Like when you go and you're talking domestic violence and you're talking about kids, and is there any coming back from that, or is that too far gone now?
I don't know. I mean, with them two, they have a very special brotherhood friendship. Maybe somewhere down the road, me and 50 had beef for 7, 8 years, and
Yeah.
now we cool. I think maybe in the long run they'll figure it out, and I mean, I really believe that they sincerely love each other and they brothers. Unfortunately, this playing out in social media.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50 doesn't feel like a good guy to fight with just because he does really go all in and he doesn't hold back, right?
You gotta. Man, you gotta stop. Like 50 Cent won't stop. He's like a pit bull. He locks in and that's that. Like, you know what I mean? Like he loves this shit. Like he's born for it, but Floyd giving him a run for his money. Floyd right there. Like, I mean, like, damn. They going hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say Floyd's never lost. Is this gonna be the first L that Floyd
Nah,
takes?
Floyd don't never lose. I think this is a cyber war. This is a cyber. Get the strap!
Is this is this the
Get the
new?
strap!
Peace, peace, peace. This your brother Monroe Jr. So I'm gonna play a quick clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talking about what he sees coming to hip hop and to black youth, black and brown youth in the streets if the beefs between the hip hop artists and entertainers continue, and what he sees the government and the white rulers potentially doing. This your brother Monroe Jr. I'm signing off. Peace.
Either we follow the public or we lead and teach the public. The public has an appetite for the beef. They love it. Now we have to get them to have an appetite for something that's better than the destruction of one another. Now what I failed to say earlier, John, is what I see coming. As you may know, I literally said what President Bush was going to do before he did it. God showed me into that man's thinking. But it isn't just a war overseas, John. There's a war being planned against black youth and Hispanic youth in particular because of the nature of what is going on inside the streets of America. Now, the danger here, all of the young men that I saw on that beef, you have guns now. Everybody has a posse. All the posses are armed. We don't make no arms, but arms are in the black community. We don't grow no drugs, but the drugs permeate the black community. And when hip hop says that we are thugs, we've come up out of the street, and now we've learned to rap, which is a tremendous art form, but the thug that's in us, now the enemy of all of us is watching. So now a war is about to come down on the hip hop community. This is what God has allowed me to see. The government has started now investigating Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. It ain't stopping there. They want to see if they can link you to that which allows them to use their court system against the leadership to wipe that out. But that ain't it. After they knock off the head, then they got to deal with the youth that's in the street that have these guns and are a macho, this kind of mentality that is like, I'll kill you.
Right.
And you see doing this. But when the rulers see this, they say, we got to take back our streets. And it's this hip-hop culture that got the children upset, militant, even savage in the brutality that we are willing to inflict on one another, because now the beefs have become such that I hate you, you hate me, and the next time we see each other, we're going to throw down. But if you and 50 throw down, it goes all the way down into the streets. Now the government is watching this. Now, here's what I see. You notice all the major cities, there's construction going on the highways around major cities. What's that about? Why are they stockpiling tanks, anti-personnel carriers in the armories of the National Guard around the country? Why in Fort Hood in Texas are they practicing not in conventional warfare, but house-to-house combat? If you look in Palestine, in Gaza, where the Israelis bring helicopter gunships into where they think there's a lot of AK-47s, they got rockets and whatnot. Now what I see is to kill 50. Now somebody intended to kill that brother. You don't shoot somebody 9 times for them to come up out of that. So if he, in his popularity now, is wiped out, and they can even subtly suggest that you did it, or your people did it, then those that love 50 turn their guns on Jah. Now, this has to end at some point, and we educate the public. Don't call for Jah to clap back at 50 and 50 to clap back at Jah when we lose Biggie and Tupac, or we lose Jah and 50, and then we go to scrapping in the street. Our mothers cry out to the government, bring the National Guard in the hood, because they're killing our babies. What's happening is war is coming down on our youth. And that's why I went throughout the country, Jah, talking about stop the killing. Then I had men-only meetings leading to the Million Man March. But a whole 10 years now have passed, a whole new generation coming up. When we squash the beef between East and West by the grace of God, a new generation has come up, and you represent, and 50 represent that new generation of hip-hop. Now the public is clamoring for you. 50 diss you, called you a wankster. I mean, that's baiting you in a way that you know you can come back. And in ego said, man, I can't let this happen. I can't let this man diss me. Like, I got to come back. Now the powers that are big and above this, waiting. Waiting. Now, if any one of you die, it's going to kick off something in the streets. So it's bigger than the public clamor, because sometimes the public don't really know what they're clamoring about. And in leadership, if we follow the public, then we're not leading. But if we're going to lead the public, then we've got to be able to negate that thing that's in the public by raising and giving them a different appetite. I used to eat pork, brother, and loved it. My mother used to make hog head cheese on New Year's Eve, man. And when I met Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X, and they said, look, man, you can't eat no pig. I used to smoke reefer. When I went to the mosque, I had a reefer in my hat band. And they searched me, but they didn't discover my reefer. And so Elijah Muhammad said, well, I got to give this foolish young man a new appetite. So when he changed my diet physically, but he also gave me a broader horizon on what the value of life really is, then it forced me to want to work to see. I never want to see anything happen to you, Ja, and I never want to see nothing happen to 50. I want to see peace. And yeah, if you want to diss each other in the culture, that's fine. But once we go past the line when we're talking about killing one another. See, once you say that in a rap and they print it and put it out, and that person is killed, the person who said it becomes the first person they come after. Now, you know, you had a motive. 50 had a motive because he been shot 9 times. You got a motive because he dissed you in the public. So any one of you that go down, the next one that goes is the one that's left. When Malcolm went down, Elijah Muhammad was the one that they really wanted, so they killed 2 birds with 1 stone and darn near destroyed the nation. See? So if the 2 of you go at each other, then hip-hop now is threatened, because you can't go on the road, because the promoters are saying, look, we want to promote them, but man, we let them in the venue, we got to have all kind of insurance. All these kind of things stop the money from flowing. So there are those at the top who say, we got to stop this because it's injuring our money. But it's bigger than money, because the boys at the top want their children back. And the only way they can get their children back is to kill hip-hop as a force. And I'll close with this, Ja. You know, the Panther Party, have you heard about them? Huey Newton, Bobby Seale. These were some wonderful brothers. They were you yesterday. They had their beret, they had their guns, and they had a cause, okay? And what the enemy saw in them was the fearlessness of our young people coming up. They had to destroy it. So they did everything they could to kill the Panther movement. And they were successful. They killed off leaders. They broke the spirit. They came down hard. But they did not have what hip-hop has, because now you've captured the youth of the world. You the new Panther Party. In reality, you are the guns. You are the muscle. You are the soldiers of a new idea, a new mind, a new spirit. And that is what is threatening. So the government, just like you saw in Tiananmen Square in China, when they brought the tanks out against their own people, that's what they're planning right now. For our young brothers and sisters who are unaware, they think, man, this cat dissed me, I'll pull out my stuff and deal with him. But it's bigger than that, man. They want to destroy this whole thing. So let me conclude with this, Ja. You know, Jesus did a lot of good work. A lot of good work. But the enemies of Jesus felt that he was a threat to Roman authority. The propaganda went to work on Jesus. And when they finally brought him into court, the same people just a few days earlier that were cheering him, saying, Hosanna in the highest, the same people turned and said, crucify him. That's how fickle sometimes the public can be. You're down this minute, you're up the next.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, but now, Jah, you can overcome that. See, if you let the public dictate, then you continue to follow that, the end result will be death, destruction. 50 and you and me and us, we got to sit down at a common table and work out the way hip-hop is going on the next level. Because if you feed the people, let me give you an example. You coming up out of the grave in your video. Is that right? From a tombstone or something.
In the Source Awards. Yeah.
Source Awards. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Because the grave is where we are right now. I'm talking about mentally.
Mentally.
See? But we got to come up out of that. And the power to come up out of that is the wisdom that you gain as a result of an increase in knowledge and understanding. And then you feed that gently into your lyric, so the public said, no, man, I'm glad Jah taught me better, because I was about to throw down and kill my brother. Like you said, I don't like 50, and 50 said, I don't like Jah. You said, he's a creep. He said, that nigga, he ain't a gangster, he's a wankster. So here's a battle now. But it's going from words to the gun. And that we have to stop. Your career does not depend on the public clamor. You think that. But if you feed the public something better and tell them why, yeah, I'm a clapback man. But why I don't think I want to clap back? Because if I do and you die, then your blood is on my hands, and I can't have that. There's a verse, Jah, in the Quran that says this: and you were on the brink of a pit of fire, and Allah saved you from it, and united your hearts, and you became brethren, while before you were enemies. See, what you feel for 50 and what 50 feels for you, nobody on our level can bridge that. God is the bridge to make two men who dislike each other. But God sees we're on the brink of a pit of fire. But he don't want you burned or 50 burned or any of our youth burned. He wants to save us from that pit of fire and unite your hearts, that you become brothers, even though today, at this moment, you see yourself as enemies. I love Ja Rule, and I love 50 Cent. I love Irv Gotti. I love Lighty. Ain't none of you that I don't love, because I see beyond where you are to what I know we're capable of becoming. And I don't believe, Jah, you've reached your full potential yet.
I don't believe it either.
and I know there's a world for you out there beyond even the world that you've touched. And if you look at the fame that God has given you, you didn't just do hip-hop. You wrote songs. You appealed to sisters with beautiful lyrics and whatnot. You are broad, very, very broad. You can touch that genre and you can go all the way over. That's an artist. So you don't need to give in to the natural thing. The natural thing is, you hit me,
clap back.
I'm clapping back.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Jah if Jah would be willing to sit at some point in the future, or as quickly as we can, with the rest of the brothers with whom there's a beef. And I'll do my best to work to bring about peace so that you and 50 and all can continue your careers, but above all to save young people from a plot that is bigger than you and 50 and all others that have a beef. Would you be willing, Jah, to sit with others to bring that about?
Absolutely, because I see the bigger picture that you're talking about. It's not about me and 50's personal beef. It's about the overall state of hip hop and the children that are coming up, watching and learning and pitting themselves against each other because one rapper says he doesn't like the other rapper. I see the bigger picture, but for the sake of our children and things like that and the state of hip hop and the well-being of hip hop and what you're saying, I understand it, and I'd be very crazy and disrespectful to say I wouldn't sit down at that table to try to help hip hop.
Well, Jah, from my point of view, I will do my best to educate our young people to create a new appetite. Not just an appetite to see two brothers go at each other. Because if you're dissed today and 50's on top, there's somebody coming up right now to challenge 50. And tomorrow, 50 be down, somebody else up. But the people that go to the bank, they'll be the same people.
They stay out.
You understand? We want to go to the bank. And we want to be able to live to see our children grow and go to the bank. But we are tired of allowing people to use our pain to get rich and then watch us die and then hold our masters and keep making money for themselves and their families at our expense.
Sure.
And the last thing I would say is, it is my hope, this is personal with me, that not only that you will be a friend to 50 and 50 be your friend, but God is able to do what man is not able to do. And maybe over time you'll not only be friends, but real brothers. Because, you know, when we were coming up, sometime when you have a beef with somebody and you knock them down, you end up there being the best friends.
I've been through that.
See,
I got a couple of friends like that. But
this is real. And if the two of you come together, you heal so many wounds that you don't even see. And suppose after that, we organize a peace tour. Whoa, with him and 50. Tearing up the country and the world. But the youth that are there, I mean, this brother could say wankster, he can say clap back, and then take it to another level and let everybody go out of there feeling the power of their youth and their strength and the newness of this young man who is really the formation of a whole new world. The Bible says, man, when those children of Israel came up under Pharaoh, God told Moses, let the old ones die out in the wilderness, and I'm going to take their children, and they will inhabit the promised land. When I see you all, that's what I see. I see the promise of everyone that died in slavery in you all. I see the strength in you, but all I see is that the generation needs direction. You got everything you need to become powerful, just guidance, direction. And if I can supply that, my brothers can go on and build a whole new reality for themselves and for our people. And them 3 lovely children that you got, they'll never be at no graveside mourning because somebody in the night took out their daddy over some foolishness. May God bless you, child. May God bless you, Irv. May God bless 50 and the crew that flows with him. May God bless hip-hop to rise to its full potential, to take the youth of the world, and instead of making them instruments of death, make them instruments of peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
That's right.
Thank you all.